so long since I've done one of these, but I am currently on the drive to medical school. I will be starting orientation tomorrow morning, and it has been such a crazy ride. I found out very late in the game that I had gotten in, and then I only had 7 days to turn around a decision because it was so late in the game. And all of that was almost exactly a month before I would have to physically be on campus and start school. So everything has all moved very quickly. I have had to find housing in a very short amount of time. It's been a little bit of a nightmare. I technically can't move into my apartment for the first 3 weeks of my program. So I will be staying with friends and then staying with one of my classmates, my new classmates that I have never met. But everyone seems super nice so far. There is like a group chat that's been opened up, and so I've gotten to at least like hear from a certain select few people. Obviously there's like 150 people in our class, and so only certain people talk in the group chats, and then the majority of them just lurk. But everyone seems super nice and welcoming so far. Like everyone in the chat has just been talking about like helping each other move in and like all that kind of stuff. So, and the fact that people even offered to let me stay with them when they didn't know me is another sign. I feel like that things are hopefully going to be really great. It is a little bit of sort of a bittersweet thing. Obviously a complete change in my life. I was at a place where I was really happy and excited about where my life was. I was doing well at work. I had gotten promoted in under a year working there. Again, just like in a really great place at work. I love my coworkers, and Friday, like 2 days ago, was my last day at my job, which was just so odd to close my work laptop for good after 14 months of working there, which I know isn't the longest time, but it's still, a whole year and a little bit more of my life where that's what I was doing. And now it's just like, I have to turn in my laptop, and they're going to close my account and everything. And so it's just going to be like my whole calendar from the last year of my life from work and everything is just going to be gone. I'll have no record of my life for the last year, which I know is kind of a silly thing, but just something that I personally have feelings about. But leaving work for a very good and exciting reason. My boyfriend and I will be doing long distance for at least the first year while he finishes his 4th year of medical school, and I will be starting my first. So we will be in very different places academically. I mean, like I said, I just graduated my Master of Bioethics program and was really happy with sort of just like my day-to-day schedule. I went to my solid core classes like 3 times a week, and had some good friends that I had made like in Boston. So it was a really big decision, but one that I think, and I'm pretty sure, I shouldn't say I think with so much hesitation, but I'm pretty sure is going to be a really, really good one. So if I had to pick one thing that I'm actually doing day to day, because I've been trying to reframe my mind as far as schooling goes. So I feel like if you have some really like concrete life goals, then sometimes you just always end up unhappy because you're just, even once you reach a goal, then it's just what's the next one and what's the next one, or what happens if you can't reach that goal for whatever reason, like if I hadn't gotten into medical school. And so I've been trying to reframe my thinking around that and thinking about less about, you know, what do I want my job title to be, or like what exact place do I want to be, or things like that, and think more about, you know, what are the activities that I want to be doing every day, what are the skills I want to be using every day, what are the values I want to be upholding in my day-to-day life, both like personally and professionally. And so if I had to pick like one activity that, or skills, or whatever you want to call it, it'd be clinical ethics and working in a hospital doing clinical ethics consults. And you can technically do that without a clinical degree, but it is much, I don't want to say easier, but much of a, I guess, easier sort of transition into that if you're coming with a terminal clinical degree, whether it's an RN or a doctorate, PA, social work, things like that, that you would already have been in the hospital dealing with patients. It's a much more seamless transition to try to go into that, especially with the Masters of Bioethics. So I of course want to practice medicine as well, but with my whole goal shifting, I was kind of okay if I had to give that up, and regardless of sort of if I got into medical school or not, I was going to have to figure out how to get into clinical ethics, because that's what I, after much thought and self-reflection, wanted to do. So luckily, I guess I didn't have to try to figure that out and try to figure out what that looks like without a clinical degree, because I got accepted to medical school. So it's still very surreal. I don't think I'm going to truly believe it. Definitely not until I'm in my actual apartment that I should be living in, which again, like, won't be able to move into for 3 weeks. So I think once I'm settled in there, it'll feel a little bit more real. But for right now, it's a fever dream. Absolutely crazy. But I am excited to sort of pick back up and bring all my friends and family and everybody else with me on this journey. So welcome back. I really appreciate sort of, if you're here watching this right now and have watched my videos before, I appreciate you sticking with me while I didn't make videos for at least a year. Going through the whole medical school application process was very emotionally draining, mentally draining, and doing that on top of a full-time job, on top of a part-time master's program, there just wasn't enough like mental and emotional space to also think about social media. So I also wasn't sure if I was going to get into medical school, and since my whole content is focused on medicine and sort of the medical field, I honestly felt like a little bit of a fraud posting, even though I was still working in healthcare, working in healthcare consulting. And I know that there's some people out here that would have enjoyed to have seen that content, my friends and family included, just to kind of see what I was up to, since the majority of my friends and family are still states away. But it feels right to start sharing this journey again. So I can't promise I'll always be consistent or I'll always be perfect, but I will try to share my experience in hopes that statistics as far as GPA and MCAT goes, but someone who nonetheless got into medical school. I hope sharing my journey will help. So let's do orientation.